Hi everybody, today I'm going to be reacting to Angelina Jordan singing Feeling Good, so stick around. Welcome to the Clown Spirit channel. I am Barnaby King, founder of Clown Spirit, where we use the power of clowning to bring lightness, joy and connection to your life and the lives of everybody around you. Now, I first reacted to Angelina Jordan singing I Put a Spell on You last week, and I was just blown away by the response. I got so many amazing responses and comments from you guys, and so many recommendations. I feel like I'm just in the Angelina Jordan rabbit hole now, and I'm so blown away by her work, and I'm just so grateful to you all for your great recommendations and also advice. Some of you were saying, please don't pause so much, please let us watch the whole song and then comment. So absolutely, I totally welcome that. You were also pointing out that she was 9 when she recorded that song and not 10, so sorry for the amateurish mistakes. I'm just kind of learning about Angelina now, and just how incredible her musicianship is, and not only the musicianship but her presence as a performer, which is what most interests me coming from a clown perspective, right? Is to do with how she connects with the audience, how she channels emotion, how she's almost kind of a bit like some other people that I've reacted to. She kind of seems to have a shamanic kind of quality of just being able to presence and channel these energies and connect with an audience in an incredible way for such a young person. So I'm really excited to have a look at this new song today, not new, but new to me, Feeling Good. It's such a great song. So let's get straight into it. All right, here we go.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, there's so much to talk about there, and I want to get into some details, but just the overall impression. And I'm really glad that I left it just to run through without stopping as well. So thanks for people who recommended that I do that, because, you get the real kind of flow of the experience as it's intended from beginning to end, like that way. And it is a phenomenal song and a phenomenal performance of it. There's such a great integrity to it, right? There's a coherence to it as a performance. Every piece of it is just perfect and as it needs to be. There's nothing that kind of stands out as like, oh, that's not quite right, or it doesn't quite fit in. There's a simplicity. So right from her costume, which really interests me and I think is really important, to her mannerisms, her facial expressions, the way she uses her body, her arms, and then of course the voice and the inflection, the kind of tonality and the way that she's articulating the words and thinking about the meaning as well. It's all just beautifully integrated and coherent. So let's just go back and take a couple of moments and break them down, because I really think it's worth it. So, for a start, there's this section at the beginning where the camera is kind of coming in sort of around the front of her, and the light is sort of appearing and disappearing behind her. And I feel that the orchestration of this is no coincidence, and I'm sure that she had a part in this as well, kind of the direction of the cinematography here and the way that it's shot and the editing of it afterwards, right? Because there is a beautiful kind of rhythmic quality of where she's coming into focus, and then the light behind her is kind of almost dazzling us. And there's a kind of, as I mentioned earlier, almost a kind of shamanic, kind of spiritual quality. And I think that the costume really accentuates that, right? It's this very, very simple white dress with this little sort of flower arrangement, or not even a flower, but a sort of decoration at the waistline. But it's super simple. We don't see her feet, but we know, people have mentioned this to me before as well, that she always has bare feet. So it's really, there's a kind of simplistic, spiritual, almost monk-like, although it's a girl, so it's not a monk, but nun-like, I suppose, quality to this of somebody who's just bringing everything down to the bare minimum, to the absolute simplest essence of things, right? Which is the hallmark of a great artist, right? The person who can find that essence in great complexity and wisdom within great simplicity. So let's just watch a little bit of this and watch what's happening.
On by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
So I just love the way that she breaks those lines up, right? And I'm not a vocal specialist, but I can see that there is, I am a performer and a performance coach, and something that I work on a lot with people is pauses, the value of silence and quietness and slowness in building up to something. And there's a tremendous sense of anticipation and tension and sort of control that is created by these pauses, right? These kind of commas or breaths between the lines. And as I said before, the movement of the light, the pulsing of the light, and the movement of her arm as well is kind of creating this wonderful overall effect. That's very powerful.
For me, and I'm feeling good.
There's a couple of things to point out in that little section which I find very, very intriguing. I've noticed this quite a bit with her, that she has a kind of flickering of the eyelids, and there's something about that which makes me feel like there's this incredible focus of concentration and almost this ability to transcend this sort of concrete material world that we live in, right? And to kind of transcend that in the way that I typically associate with all performers of all kinds. Physical performers, clowns do this, and it's this ability to to go into an altered state of reality without any kind of substance that needs to do that, but through an artistic process, right? A complete immersion in another state. So you can see that that kind of flickering of the eyelids, to me, signifies that she's kind of coming in and out of that internal and external world. And then this kind of almost hesitant way that she looks to the camera, right, to the audience. There's a humility to it, but a great power to it as well, because there's great self-assurance in that. But she's not trying to be dominating and sort of like staring down the camera, right? There's this sort of looking back and forth, bringing the audience in, but also staying in her own world and sort of letting us have our own experience with it as well. So there's a great control of the sort of persona here that is being presented to the audience. But control, but when I say that, I mean not that it's manipulated or artificial at all. It's very genuine and authentic, but there's a sense of like assurance, self-assurance to it. It's not nervousness that's causing that kind of flickering. It's much more of a sense of honesty and vulnerability.
Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
Now from some of these angles we can see the bare feet, which is kind of a trademark thing. I'm told in the comments of previous videos that she does it to draw attention to the fact that there are people in the world who can't afford shoes. So it's this, you know, humanitarian gesture of great power from somebody in her position, of empathy and connection, you know, which makes us sort of love her even more, I guess. And in this section, what I wanted to sort of point out was just how, having built up with that sort of tentativeness, deliberate vulnerability, now in this moment there's a great kind of strength that comes, and a kind of grittiness and a pleasure in the singing of this more sort of lyrical, rhythmic middle section of the song. She's not quite smiling, but it's the smile is there right behind everything she's singing, and you can really feel the ease and the flow and the energy behind it.
Fly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know?
Just
Butterflies
so
all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace one day down, that's what I mean. And this whole world is a new world, and this whole world for me. And I'm feeling good.
And that little flash smile, I think, is the only smile we get in the whole thing. And because it's the only one, it's so powerful, right? She just holds her eye for a moment and connects. And, you know, I think what's beautiful is that she's not playing to the camera, right? Even though she knows that there's millions of people watching her on the camera compared to just a few hundred or 1,000 in the space. I think that the reason she doesn't play to camera so much is because she's really playing for the people who are present in the space. And there's a great... that's her instinct, right? Is to play for the people who are present, to connect with them. And it's a generous thing and a very powerful thing as a performer.
When you shine, you know how I feel. Send up the line, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine. I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a
And something that occurs to me actually as I'm watching it about this hand, which is really interesting because it's sort of been reminding me of like a conductor somehow, beating rhythm and also feeling the dynamics, you know, the tone and the quality of the noise that she wants. And I don't know this, but I would bet that a lot of those musicians on the stage are watching that hand and almost taking their cue from that. There's a sense that she is controlling the whole thing, you know. The hand is there to help her focus on her own journey, a musical journey through the song. But also, I bet it's kind of to do with her, sculpting and shaping the whole sound of the song, as I know that she does kind of do her own arrangements and work with the band to get the sound just as she wants it, which is, phenomenal, incredible for such a young person.
It's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I feeling good.
Gosh, and just that build up to that sort of a cappella moment when the band cuts out, it's a beautiful virtuosic solo moment where she's building up to that great big growling final note and moment, and just displaying her technical skills. Really, really hard to do that. You can see the expertise and what she's doing technically with her voice, but also with her whole body, and how the whole body is coming into that performance and helping her achieve those notes in just the right way that she wants to. It's incredible artistry. So I was wrong earlier. I said it was the only smile in the middle there, but she does give us a smile towards the end as well, and in a way acknowledging the song, right? Feeling good. We have to, in a way, feel good and project that feeling of good. And she feels good all the way through the song, but it's very nice to give us that smile at the end. It's a sort of acknowledgement that here we are together on this earth, and in this, there's all kinds of suffering and difficulty, but in this moment we're here together and we're feeling good. And that smile is a beautiful reflection of that. All right, well, thank you for joining me for another reaction to an Angelina Jordan song there. I really, really enjoyed that, and I hope you did. Please keep the recommendations coming. Please subscribe to the Clown Spirit YouTube channel, and enjoy the rest of your day. And of course, keep clowning.